What's going on, everybody? Here in my Columbia hat. So I just wanted to talk about these next a couple of videos that I'm going to be going over. It's just going to be, they're going to be different from my usual videos. There's not going to be too many of them, but I just want to dispel some myths for people that are in need. And yeah, so I'm not necessarily going to be attacking people, but I'm going to be warning them and giving them some tips about other certain YouTubers and diets, basically. And so yeah, one of the people that I'm going to talk about, her name is, she's not like super popular, but her YouTube name is Gut Feelings, and her name is Peggy. I'm pretty sure, Peggy. And she's a real cool girl. And even all these people that I'm going to mention, I'm only going to talk about her then specifically in this video. And basically she follows or got her degree or whatever certificate through Anthony Williams. And Anthony Williams is pretty popular and he's more mainstream to say, and she basically follows in his footsteps amongst things. And I'm going to be talking about him too. And then and other things I'm going to be talking about adrenal fatigue in this video and raw foods and just some other things basically. So I've had adrenal fatigue for a long time, super severe, and it was like I was going to die every day, and it was because of the vegan diet, more so even some certain foods I was eating on the diet. And at the end of the day, I was working out a lot, probably more than I have. I worked out my whole entire life. I was just doing calisthenics, but I was working out intensely, and I was on the vegan diet. And I just basically, it got to a point where all I thought about was food, and I was starving every day, and I didn't want to eat. I had a mentality where I didn't want to eat animal products, yada yada yada, any at all. And it basically ruined my life. And I couldn't think at all. I'm just getting better now. I'm not going to get into this because I explained this a bunch of times, but I couldn't move, I couldn't think, couldn't drink water, I couldn't eat anything. My whole body was shut down basically. And I tried a bunch of things, and one of the things I tried on my journey recovering from adrenal fatigue was raw foods. And I ate raw foods for about a year and a half, almost to 2 years basically, pretty much strictly too. And why I'm saying this stuff about all the raw foods, and before I even dive deeper into this journey for anyone that's struggling, first of all, if you're fat and you're lazy, because I'm just coming straight with it, if you're fat and lazy and you don't move around much and you have health problems, you're gonna have health problems. There's very few people who are fat and don't move around, which are people who are living in nature, gurus, and people who really devise a special life where they're fat and can be okay with it. Being fat, it depends how fat, but it more so depends on your activity during the day. If you have a decent amount of activity today, you're always going to be primarily healthy. And of course, eating whole foods at the end of the day too. Whole foods. I can't say that enough. And so I just want to get that out of the way, because anybody who's fat that changes up their diet or something like that is gonna feel better no matter what. Anyways, that's like the number one problem, is people being fat and not moving enough because the modern world basically. But I'm not gonna get into that. I just wanted to really talk about raw foods because Peggy from Gut Feelings and Anthony Williams and a whole crew of other people, if you go search on YouTube and you're kind of into it and want to upgrade your health, depending where you're at. Now, what I want to say is, in traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and ancient Ayurveda medicine, when you have adrenal fatigue, specifically in low stomach acid, they don't recommend eating any raw foods at all. No raw foods at all. And furthermore, the most nutritious foods and products are going to be animal products. Now, I don't know where all this nonsense came from today about all this other stuff. Anywho, this is ancient literature, scriptures, whatever you want to say, that say animal products are the most nutritious, and B, when your body's running cold and when you have low adrenal fatigue, or you have low digestive issues or problems, or I meant to say acid, low digestive acid, you'll know when you have it because you'll feel bloated all the time. You'll start burping, you'll start farting all the time. You'll never know though till it's too late. That's what they don't tell you, and you'll never know usually. So by the time you do know, it's too late. It's way too late. So then you have to go through a bunch of nonsense. Anywho, you're not supposed to eat raw foods. They're meant for people with strong digestive systems, really strong, fiery, people who are hot, basically, run hot, and for people who are healthy, not necessarily people who are like not healthy. There is a line, there is a fine line, but I want you to know, just because you're just going to eat all these raw foods and you hear these people talking about raw foods, especially if you have adrenal fatigue or low stomach acid, you're not digesting foods, you should not be freaking, you need to eat warm, whole foods, basically. Hot foods, warm foods, not all these people, these fanatics. Anywho, the thing about, I wanted to also warn about Peggy and her channel and how she goes. I don't know if she's a doctor or whatever she wants to call herself, practitioner. Anybody who excludes something out of something is not a healer at all. Someone who doesn't, excludes complete animal products, meat. She doesn't recommend any, and the same thing with Anthony Williams, except he is okay with meat, but he's against dairy and he's against eggs, basically. Anybody who excludes something for everything is not right. And I know Peggy from this channel, she excludes all animal products, basically. She doesn't want you eating any of them. They think you're so detrimental to your health, and she basically promotes more so raw diet, vegan diet. And I'm going to tell you right now, especially if you have adrenal problems, more so than often, A, you're just completely lazy and don't do much in your life. B, you're not eating meat, or you're missing nutrients, which you're not eating meat, basically, is the problem. And again, that's the problem. I can't stress this enough. So I just wanted to let you know, I have multiple things. Ancient medicine, if the ancient medicine is saying not to eat raw foods if you have digestive problems and low stomach acid, which is like the cause of every disease, but that comes on from so many reasons, so you can't just say that, basically. And again, if you have and if you're very cold, like you're cold all the time, you should not be eating raw foods. Not at all. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, and especially if you have anything to do with adrenals, you should not be eating raw foods. It's pointless. Your body's not going to absorb them. And again, ancient Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, which is ancient Indian medicine, basically, all say this. And I just wanted to say that because I ate raw foods for such a long time and they did nothing. I even ate, I'm not going to get into it, raw meat and stuff like that, and that did nothing either. And a lot of these people who are anybody who's all about one way and this is the way, is completely delusional, because there's not just one way. And especially a healer, when someone's trying to heal someone, if I'm feeling better off of heated foods, cooked foods, I'm not saying it's going to be this way the rest of my life, but if I'm feeling better and it's healing me now, anybody who's against that and doesn't see this is arrogant. They're completely out of their mind saying this. And there's a bunch of other people that I'm going to talk about, but I'm not here to really attack these people. I want you to know that their way is not the right way, and there's something wrong in their head. For someone to completely shun animal products, again, Peggy, I'm not saying she's a nice person and she's real helpful and she's doing good, like she's really helping people and stuff like that, but you need to understand, there's, if you do want to do a raw thing, which I wanted to say at the beginning, if you want to eat raw foods or try any diet, try it for just 1 week. You'll know if it works in 1 week. It does not take years. It does not take months. You don't have to go through some long fast to go through this detox process. It's a lie. You feel it basically immediately. You'll feel it in 1 week or not. So if you eat a raw diet in a week and you feel like shit, well, you don't need to be eating a raw diet right now because something's wrong with, you know, and usually people are going to diets to go do something, to change something up health-wise. And so another thing, like, I was just bloated all the time when I was eating these raw foods, like all the time, basically bloated all the time, and never had no energy, and just felt worse and worse and worse and worse, basically, especially sugar, especially when I was eating all these fruits. I was feeling worse and worse and worse. So I just wanted to bring this out about Peggy and these people who are fanatics about raw foods, like it's the only way. How is it the only way if I'm eating cooked foods and feel better? See, and then you want to exclude things. You want to exclude animal products, but meanwhile, animal products are healing so many people. Anywho, I want to talk about Anthony Williams real quick, and it's pretty much the same deal with him. He does actually recommend meat or the carnivore diet because he probably understands, he at least understands that, hey, if I exclude all these animal products, people are not gonna listen to me. Basically, it's not gonna be really mainstream, and he's right, because no one wants to, because again, you're doing all this exclusion. And then I think he does recommend the carnivore diet, only eating meat, which is a good thing. Like, it's definitely a good thing. As you can see online, it heals a bunch of people. And I don't really got too much to say about all of that. I mean, he's open to it. I know he's really against fat and some of the things. I pretty much think, like, he's helping people, yes, but you know, some his ideas and theories behind it, anybody's idea and theory at the end of the day is basically a fluke, because it's just a bunch of BS. It's not, it can sound right and it could even logically, but it's all in the head anyway, so it's a bunch of BS. You just would have to try it and feel it. This does this and this and this. How would anyone knows what happens in the liver when you eat an apple? How would anyone know that? I'm not saying it's not possible, but I know in his books he says this, does this, and this, and this, and this, and then some people get real scientific about things, which is a bunch of BS. I didn't want to even make this video this long, but that's all I wanted to say was raw food didn't help me at all. At all. Especially if you have adrenal fatigue, low stomach acid, and again, I backed up my experience and then evidence with, this is easily to find. You'll find this. They always say not to eat raw foods, especially if you're cold and like cold internally. You'll know. So that's basically all I wanted to say for this video. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. Yeah. Okay, that's basically it. Have a nice day.